I think, for one, I think we alluded to this already, and that is that basically the assumption that essentially that the money is uber alles. With other words, we're in a situation where just grab the money, the first bit of money that's thrown at you, you'll suffer the consequences last. And I've done that. I've relied heavily on partners, business associates' decisions to essentially give me the kind of capitalization that I needed to wanted to move forward. You alluded to the fact that when we decided to go public, which for us was just, it essentially became a monster day itself. But again, it was, to me, when it was put forward to me, it was from, well, we're going to be able to give you the cash resources so you can do this, 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 and this, and this. And you become, as an entrepreneur, at least I am, very much a dreamer. And sometimes you have the blinders on, and when somebody says we are going to try to realize your dream, you do not actually make any what you would consider, good, solid, objective decisions. Sometimes you're just too close to the subject, and you make that kind of, and that's, I think, that the crux of it has always been the kind of decisions that we made where we went wrong. Was that it ended up being essentially situations where the tail started wagging the dog, for lack of a better word.
Right. Shelly, what mistakes have you seen people make?
I think I'm wholeheartedly behind what you just said. It's like the carrot dangling in front of you, and the blinders come out, and so you overlook a lot of things, don't do your research, and just sort of go down that road, and it's a difficult road, and it's difficult to get off of. So also not really paying close attention to cash flow. Understanding what exactly am I going to, certainly in my business, I don't have a point of sale purchase. I'm dealing with the business community, so I'm waiting a minimum of 30 days for a payment on any order. I could wait upwards of 90 days. That's if they're going to pay me within the terms that normal business operations are. It can go well beyond the 90 days, and you're suffering all along. I still have to pay my employees. I still have to make sure that the shelves are stocked, and I still have to make sure that we're actually being productive, and that usually has to come out of my pocket. So understanding what my cash flow requirements are is heavy duty, and just sitting down and focusing on that is sometimes difficult as an entrepreneur, because we do have this sort of long-term vision of where we want to see ourselves going, and that's often sort of procrastination stuff. But it has to be done, and it has to be done on a regular basis. So generally I book some time with myself at a desk rather than in the shop area, and I just sort of think through, okay, what am I going to need this month? First of all, to make sure that my people are continuing to be employed, because without them, nothing's happening. What supplies am I going to need? What are my major payments that I have to make? If not a penny comes in this door, I have to have X number of dollars in my bank account to get through this month. So I go through that exercise on a regular basis. By the second of the month, or I'm starting to kind of feel a little bit shaky on things. So cash flow, huge.
What mistakes have you seen, Sam?
There's kind of two things that you see pretty commonly in software startups. A lot of software startups are first-time entrepreneurs. So like this was my first time, well, this second time raising money on this second round, but the first time around it was our first time, and that's the case for a lot of software startups out there. And you have to have a really good understanding of the private equity concepts around that style of investment. You need to do a ton of research, way more. Like when you think you've done enough, go back and do 3 times the amount that you just did, to really understand, what are liquidation preferences, like what kind of what's stock vesting, and what are the expectations that a typical sophisticated tech investor is going to have, and what are you going to see on the term sheet? And then as a sort of a second part to that, there's a lot of companies out there who are really like other successful startups or startups that are a little ahead, that are more than willing to help out other companies that are going through it, and they're more than willing to sit down and have a conversation and talk to you about their term sheet, or to what degree they actually can, and then having an understanding of what the expectations are for the type of software that you're doing, because even within software, there's a lot of sort of subsections. There's B2B software, there's B2C software, and the type of investing that happens in those two different spaces can even be significantly different depending on what you're doing. And then once the money hits the bank, don't spend it so fast. Like hiring people is something that should only be done once you're experiencing so much pain doing it all yourself and falling on your face over and over and causing problems for the business. Only at that point should you actually like try and staff up, and then just do it slowly. It causes problems to do it too fast, and then you end up with cash flow issues, which you only realize when it's too late, because if you have $500,000 hitting the bank, you think you got all the money in the world, especially as a first-time investor, or first-time entrepreneur rather, or fundraiser. But the reality is it's really not that much money, so you don't want to figure that out too late.
Are you hiring now?
Yes, we are. Front-end developers, account managers can talk to me.